I'll tell you what the first public hearing is. It's the ordinance amending the Whatcom County Code 2405 on-site sewage system regulations to allow for self-evaluation of OSS, your septic system, by homeowners.
You're American, you can do what you want on your own property. But I do believe that people need to be properly trained in this. Education is key to people because they have to realize there are some safety hazards to it. You know, we've had a professional fall in a tank. He got bacterial pneumonia. His life has changed dramatically. So I think those things are things that people need to know. We should make the classes very knowledgeable but simple. Don't make it too difficult, but get the end result, what we need.
And I want to refer to 2 letters that were written to you folks regarding the septic system, and these letters were in reference to maintaining the original ordinance as written. And they are from an Eric Hurst, who's a Bellingham resident who writes under a FutureWise Whatcom letterhead, and a letter from Ms. Wendy Harris, who is a Bellingham resident who writes under the letterhead or a blog letterhead of Latte Republic, exploring contemporary events, government accountability, politics, and third places in Space Needle State, whatever this means. Mr. Hurst states in his letter, I have no problem with allowing trained homeowners to inspect the septic systems. However, I worry that many homeowners who learn that their system is malfunctioning will not take necessary steps to repair the system. Instead, to save money, they will allow their system to continue polluting our water supplies. Such an outcome is profoundly unfair to the citizenry and our much cherished natural resources. Mr. Hurst fails to see such an outcome that continually takes dollars and rights away is just as unfair to the citizenry and our much cherished natural resources. The second letter is considerably lengthy, and it's from Ms. Harris. And she was first responding to the ordinance where there is no evidence that water contamination from existing systems is worsening. She states that this statement is contrary to the position of the EPA and the Department of Ecology. In RCW 70, the Washington legislature declared that 1,200,000 persons in the state are not served by sanitary sewers, and they must rely on septic tank system. The failure of large numbers of such systems results in significant health hazards. How many? Almost done. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'll get to her point. I'll leave you a copy of the letter. I won't get to all of it. But she's talking about persons, not septic tank systems. My septic tank system is designed for more than one person. So you take those numbers and divide them up. It's just a big number they're throwing out there. I believe there's too much legal speech in the name of environment for the good of the people, historically in the minority, and the obstruction, reduction, and elimination of our property rights. Basically, I believe in the changes you're making, and I will take the class when there's classes available for the system that I have. I don't believe that it has to be a system expert that has to do it. They are not that difficult a system to understand.
We have a police department, even though only 1% or less of the population commits felonies. We should have an inspection of septic systems, even though less than 4% or 5% are in failure mode.
The reason I came down here tonight was to just speak generally in favor of Councilmember Brenner's work in this regard and thank her for taking this on behalf of homeowners within the county.
I was interested in last Sunday's Herald and Neil opinion. It hit right on the septic issue, and I ran right down the next Monday and put a letter to the editor. I don't know quite when that'll come in. I know sometimes these letters don't even appear, but I want to read that to the council. Basically, it was our view, septic debate, a sign of government dysfunction was the headlining issue. And my response was, I can appreciate the Herald's opinion and their frustration at the septic issues. However, the point is not the changes in the county council or inspection costs, but to understand the meaning of a failed system and the high cost of an approved mound system costing $30,000 for replacement. I see our council working diligently to understand state guidelines and getting low interest loans available for homeowners are the major issues.
I am strongly opposed by this attempt by County Council to reduce the current health and safety standards reflected in the County Health Code. Let me repeat that. The OSS system ordinance reduces existing protection in the health code. This is not an environmental regulation found in a critical area ordinance or the SMP or a farm plan. It contradicts the fundamental purpose of the county council to initiate an action that exposes the public to greater health risks. Professional O&M inspectors have a level of training and experience that allows a greater ability to detect OSS system failures. If homeowner certification classes were in any way comparable to the training of an O&M professional, then homeowners should be certified as O&M professionals after they take the class. Clearly, the gap is far too wide for something like that to happen. I'd also like to go on the record as stating that I'm against public subsidies of private development. The cost of restoring increased degradation of our water quality must be paid for by someone. And if standards for septic systems are reduced, the result is that the true cost of the private septic system ownership will be passed along to the public.
The stated reason for the changes is financial hardship. The hardship is not in the homeowners being able to afford the fee of a certified inspector. It's paying for the required repairs. If a homeowner's roof was leaking and his personal property was being damaged, you can be sure he'd find a way to come up with the money for that repair. No matter how good an OS system was when it was installed, it still has an expected lifespan of 20 to 30 years. The owners should have been putting away money for normal maintenance and expected repairs. Homeowner-performed inspections are not sufficient. A homeowner cannot possibly absorb in a 4-hour class all the knowledge a professional OM inspector installer has gained through years of actual experience.
I signed up for the homeowner inspection class, and I have to get a $300 inspection before I can take the class. And being unemployed since June, that $300, if it's, I'm not the only person in this county that has to do these kind of things under the old system. That's not according to your new ordinance.
If you want to take care of the environment and your tax dollar, move to town.
The previous ordinance would have required inspections every 3 years on gravity systems, whether there was any sign of a problem or not. And that really rubbed a lot of us the wrong way. So I think this is a good compromise in general. And in the last few weeks, I've learned more about septic tanks than I really thought I needed to know. But there's a lot to know about how to handle them. If you're on one, you really better pay attention to what the experts say.
If a system is looked at every 3rd year, a homeowner has a hard time remembering what they need to do and how they need to do it. The replacement of a system also these days is from $10,000 to $20,000, and a small fee to pay someone every 1 year or 3rd year is a very minimal amount to actually protect your system just from a financial standpoint. So, and I've always been a property right advocate, but it's ludicrous for someone not to pay someone to make sure that it actually works and actually will maintain right, it will actually work correctly.
The thing that will make the county most successful in improving the septic tank issues will be the staff's willingness to be truly helpful.